Hi guys, it's me again. I want to talk about something we touched on before, which was resistance. But in this context, I want to talk about using it as the thing to propel you forward. One of the really interesting things about being okay with life is that it allows us to just float around. And when we get intentional about wanting to make change, it's coming from a source of ambition and dream. But I just heard a really interesting podcast the other day that talked about the difference between ambition and drive. Ambition is us having those goals and visions of ourselves in the future and thinking big and dreaming and loving what that looks like. And drive is the consistent daily action that we have to take in order to fulfill that ambition. And unfortunately, the only shortcut is work. And unfortunately, a lot of us don't have the drive. And in order to kind of pull from inside of ourselves and find that drive, I think there's two ways we can do that: positive reinforcement and negative reinforcement. To go negative, if we're going to talk about the negative side of things, you can go to a place in your mind in the future or in the present, honestly, of suffering, and let that be your fuel. You can think about all the things that are wrong, why being okay really isn't okay. You can think about all the ways that you'll be unhappy if you don't fulfill these commitments that you've made to yourself. I know that Tony Robbins says, take yourself to the end of your life. Like, really go there. And I've done that too. I've cried. It's scary. But really going there in the suffering can be a really good source or a tap to get into fueling that drive. Now, for me, the suffering side of leaving my job, as an example, was the fact that I was crying every single day after work, that I was horrible to be around. I could feel the energy of my coworkers and my superiors not wanting to be around me. And you know what? I didn't want to be around myself either. So I had to really take a good look at myself around that situation and say, what's going to happen if I stay here for another 5 months or 5 years? I'm going to continue to be a person that I don't like being around and that other people aren't going to like. And that doesn't feel good for me. So I've really got to make a change. And I did everything within my power to try to make that change at my job. But it was time for me to go and really, really change the paradigm for myself so that I could experience a new way of being. So that's the negative side of things, the suffering side. But I tend to go to the positive side of things, which is what good could happen if I committed to this. And if we talk about the law of attraction, the Abraham Hicks, you are the vibe that you put out, you will receive. I really like to dream and think about all of the things that could happen if I did commit to my goals, if I did really put everything in and play big on launching this app or launching this business or launching whatever it was that I wanted to do. I could be running a company. I could be pitching investors in Silicon Valley. I could get amazing Instagram pictures. It's whatever it is that drives me, knowing that I don't even know how good it could be, because I can't even dream farther than I can see. And I'm trying to get into something bigger than myself. So I just have to allow and know that if I continue to show up, put in the work, it's going to be bigger than I could ever imagine. And I'm so excited about that. And that excitement fuels me. Now, I'm not saying that I'm going to be totally naive, but I'm terrified at the same time. And all that you have to remember when you're feeling fear is that nervous energy and excited energy literally dumps the exact same chemicals in your brain. So if you're nervous, literally just tell yourself, I'm excited. And it kind of works, and it kind of like tricks your brain a little bit. And then you can just kind of go with that instead of the nervous energy. Believe me, it's worked for me on numerous first dates, interviews, phone calls, whatever. You just say you're excited, and then you bring that vibe. It's the same thing with anger and fear. They just dump the same exact chemicals in your brain. And that's where that fight or flight kind of comes in, because we're either scared or we want to attack. So it's just about being conscious about your brain. What's fueling you? Whatever works for you works for me. But I just think that maybe if we try the positive side, might have some good outcomes. It might be worth it to try both on for size. Let me know what you do, what works for you, what's your fuel, what's pushing you to do this. And oh, by the way, it's literally like 5 minutes a day that you need to do something. So it's kind of really easy. It's going to be fun. I'm excited. I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.